Hi YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. My name is Noelani. I'm here to support you in your journey of spiritual evolution, self-growth, and creating the life that you truly deserve and desire. There's nothing you cannot be, do, or have. I am on this journey with you, and today I want to talk about the truth that it's not about you. And while it is your reality and life is a simulation and everything is frequency and vibration, when it comes to relating, whether it's with other people, with friends, family, partners, co-workers, any type of relating, it's not about you. And this is for my recovering people pleasers, or for those of us who may have grown up in a home where it was full of dysfunction, chaos, and turbulence in a lot of ways, where we were raised or conditioned to feel like other people's behaviors, personalities, attitudes were somehow our fault, and that we're to blame, that we're inherently bad or wrong. And then we find ourselves growing up as adults still engaging and interacting with life in this way, whether it's conscious, the 5%, or subconscious, the 95%, the bottom of the iceberg that's underneath the water. And that goes for everyone in the world. We're all running through our subconscious. 95% of what we live is through our subconscious mind. So if you're one of the people in the world who tend to have challenges with relationships, and you find yourself in these cycles that just don't feel good, and they seem to keep repeating no matter how much work you do on yourself, it could be with attachment styles, nervous system regulation, even reparenting. All these things are beautiful and they're very helpful. And still, it doesn't seem like they're getting directly to the root. One thing that's been helping me recently, and I have to give a shout out to my therapist. I've been working with a therapist for the last 2 years. My daughter and I, we actually go to neurofeedback once a week for the most part, other than when life has not allowed us to. And if you don't know about neurofeedback, I definitely recommend looking into it. Maybe I'll post another video about that soon, and the benefits of neurofeedback with trauma, PTSD, complex PTSD, and brain imbalances, which really everyone has that in some capacity, especially nowadays with technology and social media and mainstream media propaganda. We can go on, and with the high number of people being diagnosed with ADHD, it's something that's really helpful to just get your brain waves back into sync. Just like we train our muscles, we can train our brain. So I digress, but yes, I had a really beautiful breakthrough just yesterday with my therapist, and something internally switched for me. And I know it's profound because of how I'm feeling internally. And most of us know that the inner creates the outer. Our inner world creates our outer experience, and that the 3D world outside of us that we experience with our 5 senses is a mirror, a reflection of what's going on inside of us. So what was really helpful for me as I was sharing with my therapist about some challenges I'm experiencing with some close connections of mine, and the way I was interpreting it through my lens, even with all the work I've done in the last 13 years, still recognizing that we have these deeper layers, and so much of it does come to our inner child, right? And I've thought I've done so much work on my inner child and with her, and we have a beautiful relationship now. I can say that over the years. She's grown to trust me, to love me, to listen to my guidance, my wisdom. And I was able to see where my beloved, sweet inner child was feeling unsafe, unworthy, not good enough, bad, or that certain behaviors from loved ones and people outside of us, outside of me, she was interpreting as her fault, and therefore was only able to see a situation, circumstance, experience, relationship from that lens of being a hurt, wounded self, inner child self. And what I get to do as the healed adult, or at least, the aspect of me that's healed, again, digress, parts work. If you didn't know anything about parts work, I definitely recommend you look into it. I maybe will share another video on parts work as well. I recommend a book. It's called No Bad Parts, and that will give you a little glimpse, a really good dive into parts work and also internal family systems. But yes, that's for another video. But looking at the healthy part, the adult part, the part that has done the work, that has evolved and matured over the years, looking at my stuff, looking at the wounds, the healing, the pain, and being willing to transform it, allowing my inner adult, my inner healthy adult, to hold space for my wounded inner child, that part of me that feels some type of way, not good enough, not bad, or not worthy, and let them know that whatever is going on, it doesn't have to be about us. In fact, it's not about us. And often when somebody's own trauma or unhealed, wounded inner child is triggered by a set of circumstances or experiences, it can trigger our own wounded inner child. And then now the two children are playing, and it was beautiful. My therapist had looked at it in this way of saying how what do children love to do but play? And so, they're interacting with one another. One's inner child that's feeling wounded and not good enough, and and in this regard, my own wounded inner child, and how they were playing with each other, role playing in a way. But what if we were to make it more playful, in a lighthearted way, take the seriousness out of it, and recognize that what they're going through has nothing to do with us, even if it feels like it, even if their behavior towards us has changed, or the interactions have changed. Maybe the trigger for them is so deep that now they get to look at that. And the thing about healing is it's voluntary, and not everyone is ready to heal. And that's the challenging part about being in relationship with others. Even if we are on this healing path, we can't control anybody else, and we can't force them to do the work to heal themselves. And it is an inner job. And it just goes to show how healing, how special, how powerful the desire to heal is. Because not everyone is ready for that. Not every soul is ready to do that. Maybe in another lifetime, maybe in 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 5 months. But we don't get to decide that for anyone else. What we do get to decide is our capacity, our willingness to heal, to become self-aware, to continue to do the work for ourselves, and then to decide if it is of benefit for others to be and to play a role in our life. And of course, if you're part of the law of assumption community, law of attraction community, then there is always the opportunity to create and to align with a different version of somebody else, the version of them that is willing to heal, is ready to heal. But often we need to first be willing to let go, to detach from the circumstances, from the experience, and be okay with the idea that this version of them right here and right now may not be willing to heal or to look at their stuff. And can we be okay with that? And take responsibility for what is our stuff, and take responsibility and be willing to say, you know what, this isn't about me. And it reminds me of the 4 Agreements, the book, The 4 Agreements by Don Luis Miguel. Yes. And Excuse me if that's wrong. It's been a while. That book used to be like a Bible to me for a very long time. And it's a very powerful book. And if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. It's beautiful. But one of the 4 agreements is to not take things personal. And that has been a challenge for me over this lifetime. For many reasons, for how I was raised, for the household I grew up into, the environment, the circumstances, the people, places, and things. My family did the best they could. I love them, and I'm grateful for all of the experiences that I've been through, and also my willingness to heal from all of it and continue to do this healing work and to grow and evolve, and not taking something personal can be challenging when you were conditioned to believe that it was your fault and someone's bad behavior or negative personality or attitude was about you, especially if they said it was about you. It could be something big or it could be something so small that our little child self absorbs, internalizes, and makes that one of their core belief systems about the self. I'm not good enough. I am bad. I'm not worthy. I am unlovable. Right? We get to rewrite these things because the truth of who we really are, and I know most of us, if not all of us, that are tuning in at least, know the truth of who we really are is divine, is God, Goddess, is spirit, is source. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are made of the same energy, life force as the creator, as creation, as the universe. And so how could we be anything but worthy and lovable and deserving and enough, right? But our human selves and all these different parts of us, we get to remind those parts of us and we get to reintegrate them and bring them back home. So learning to not make things personal and to tune in with ourselves. And that's why self-awareness is so important, because when we become more conscious of ourselves, what's going on within us, what are we feeling, what's coming up for us, journaling, meditating, really looking at these things, then we can start to decipher what's my stuff and what's somebody else's stuff, and then taking responsibility for what's ours. Now, how can I make sense of what's coming up for me? And is this my inner child? Is this my inner teenager? The rebellious, defensive, protective version of us that wants to protect our inner child now. So puts up these walls of separation, of distance, of maybe hot, cold behavior, and just recognizing where we're playing and interacting with others. And then again, deciding if that interaction and that relationship, as it is right now in this now moment, is healthy for us, is of benefit, and is serving us or not. And being so courageous and so brave to walk away or to accept it for where it is, to detach and to give space, even if we have so much love for them, so much care and compassion for them in our hearts, but being willing, being okay to create that space. And also that reminder of compassion, to have compassion for them. Because sometimes when our wounded inner children are fighting with each other or, playing in not the best way, it can be challenging to get out of that and to have compassion and not to take it personal and be like, they're not treating me right, I deserve better. Yes, and which part of them are you interacting with? And maybe it's